Hey, what's up guys? So I have some pretty exciting news for upcoming series. We are gonna build a practice car. So this will be my 4th year in Pro Drift. I did 2 years of Pro 2, 1 year of Pro 1, and this upcoming season, 2018, will be 2nd year of Pro 1. So I need more seat time. I need a practice car. I didn't have one. I've been wanting one. I've always wanted one, but I finally am at the level that I will be able to afford building one. It's not going to be as crazy as the Supra is. Parts wise, everything is going to have to be, you know, one notch down from that because everything's expensive. Still going to have a solid drive line, whatnot, good transmission, and I'm going to build it as good as I can for the money that I'll have for this off season. So there's 3 main things we're going to talk about of why I'm going to choose the chassis I'm going to choose and what makes it, you know, good for those 3 reasons, and I guess what makes it bad. There isn't really much bad. It's a drift car. We get to go drifting. I think most of it's all good. Before I show you guys what it is that we're gonna build, I'll tell you that we're gonna do multiple part series of the build and update you as everything happens, and then you guys get to see how Rad Industries builds drift cars and why we do what we do to make it more reliable and work better when you're at the track and just, you know, easy to drive. All the reasons and all our knowledge that goes into building these race cars. So reason number 1 would be chassis, and in choosing a chassis you think of accessibility of that chassis, and then wheelbase and weight and cost, all that goes into chassis. So I'm gonna pick a chassis that is very similar to the Supra, and parts will be interchangeable, and the wheelbase is similar, and the weight is similar. So second thing would be motor and power plant, and the cost of the power plant and reliability of the power plant at the desired horsepower. I'm gonna go for 650 horsepower, which brings the build to kind of like, I guess, a good Pro-Am build, or maybe like an in-between of a Pro. Maybe it's like a Pro 2 build power-wise, but maybe not as much, yeah, I don't know, money into it as a Pro 2 build. It'll be, because a Pro 2 build is basically a Pro 1 build nowadays. So, just a little bit better than a Pro-Am build. 650 horsepower, VVTi 2JZ is my motor of choice for this one. I'm not gonna build it up at like a stroker motor. Maybe put some BC cams in it and cam gears, but I'm not gonna go for, you know, a fully built race motor because those are really, really expensive. So the driveline will consist of an OEM diff, welded or with a LSD in it, stock axles, a dog box. That's pretty crazy transmission. I'm really excited that I'll be being able to do that. It's not here yet. We're in the process of accumulating all the parts to make this happen. Third thing would be accessibility of parts. Like if White's Fab makes an angle kit for this specific chassis, or if Stance makes coils for this specific chassis, if Megan Racing makes adjustable arms, and so on and so forth. Those are some of the companies I work with in sponsorship on my Pro Drift car. So it would only be smart to choose a chassis that either interchanges the current parts that the Supra runs, and or like the companies I work with make a part for it. Or even if you were to choose a Mercedes, there's no parts for that car. There's parts for certain chassis that we know about. Okay, so let's head this way and go check out the car. We already have one. Maybe you guys have guessed what it is by now, or you have an idea. Are you guys excited to see what it is? Okay, it's a SC300. Here it is. So, this chassis is very similar to a Supra in the sense that it shares subframes. The angle kit from the Supra will bolt right on. The motor 2JZ will bolt right in because this came with a non-turbo version of the 2J. That makes life a lot easier when you have parts that work for the chassis. The rear subframe and all the arms are interchangeable, so lots of the things I currently already have for the Supra can now go onto this chassis, or if I had backup parts, so on and so forth, it'll make it easier. This car, it's not the cleanest paint, but if you look at the frame, it's really good. That's more what we're worried about, was frame rails, and mostly like you're just looking for a good chassis to start with. It doesn't matter if it has bad paint, I could get it repainted. We are going to try and use what we can. It looks like that is a really big fuel tank and it's in a weird spot, so most likely that is, never really looked into these before. That's crazy. So this car was given to me by a Supra customer that we have named Brian, and he used to have this all swapped over, GTE turbo swap in here, turbo 2J, and then he really wanted a Supra, so he went that route and he parted this guy out and then sold all the parts that he had, kept saving for a while, and like 7 months later got a Supra. Had no use for this and he didn't have anywhere to store it, and he's like, just come get the chassis. It's been sitting here for a year. This has been in my mind to build it for a year, but finally we're here, so we're excited about this. And then just imagine like VVTi 2J, turbo, big treadstone intercooler. Oh, Borg Warner EFR turbo. Best turbos ever. And then we're gonna cut as much weight out of here as we can. Try and, you know, get it down to something reasonable, similar to the Supra's weight, and then put a cage in here. Hopefully like a decent looking body kit, and then we have our practice car. We will definitely update you guys with a, you know, step-by-step build process and show you how and why we do the things we're doing. But first, it looks like we are going to be stripping out a lot of old interior and throwing it away or selling it if some of it's still, you know, worthy of being sold. The plan would be to rear radiator, Lexan window here, and the sides, no windows on the doors. Cut the door skin out so that we just have our cage come out a little bit. Inside, just as minimal as we can. It's not gonna be a Pro 1 drift car, but it's still we're gonna make it as crazy as we can. So I'm really excited about this. Just try and imagine it, how cool it could be. So the SC300 has 103.7 inch wheelbase, and my Supra has 100.3. So very similar there. So this is it. You guys have seen it. Just a SC300 chassis, but we're gonna make it really cool. I'm really excited about it. So in drifting, you gotta start somewhere and then work your way up. I did that and I got to Pro, and it was really exciting for me, but now I'm at this level with these other drivers that they have multiple cars and or, you know, drive for a team. So they show up at the FD rounds and then hop in the race car, drive it, but then when they're not at the FD rounds, they have another car that they can hop in and go to fun events. I have not had that since I never have had two cars. I've only had my Pro-Am car and then my Supra, and I had to sell the Pro-Am car to, you know, make that first year of Pro 2 happen. So this is a big turning point for me in my career of drifting. So to have a second chassis and to be able to go practice and, you know, just get seat time, muscle memory, every little bit helps. So it's gonna be really good. The whole team is really excited. You have no idea how excited I am about this, and it's gonna be good. Everything about it will be really good. So we'll keep you guys updated and let you know how it goes.
IFC 300.